Well, they have to deal with it.
I mean, splitting the party.
You know,
I guess we can kind of stay close and just kind of leer at them from outside.
no, screw that. Dwohurim is going to this damn tavern.
It's pretty obvious that any attempts to stay close to the tavern are going to attract a whole lot of attention. And while you guys might not have gotten into a fight yet, it's rather arrogant to presume that you can take anything that can be thrown at you in this district.
Yeah, that's why we don't want to leave them alone, but...
No. They can handle themselves.
You know, as soon as a fight starts, the gossip is going to travel fast enough that we can intervene before they get killed.
How would a fight start?
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
If you're not sending them into enemy territory, you're sending them into a bar.
A little Dragon Hall. Friendly territory.
Look, you three didn't get into a fight whenever they were gone. Why would those two get into a fight while you're not around?
Because, well, you know, if you look at that logic, if you have 3 members of the party that don't get into a fight when 2 are gone, that might mean the 2 members of the party might be the cause of the fight.
When you put it like that, that sounds eminently reasonable. Yes, right. So
are they also the 2 people who are like cruel enough to be able to handle themselves well in Little Dragon Hall? If we had Aurelia, that'd be like the mean part of the party.
Yeah. So this map may take some time to load, although I see Gryph is here. For the description of this map. This winch and chain is a small structure. It is made out of stone or bricks, some other material that's predominantly not wood, so you can't easily set it on fire. How about that? There is a lot of boisterous activity and laughter and merriment coming from inside, although to be fair, it's maybe like around 1:30 p.m., so not a whole lot of activity courtesy of the fact that people are still working, but there is still some commotion inside. It's a nice grassy area, a small grassy area surrounding the tavern, separate from the rest of the pavement that's so predominant here in Newport. Peering inside at the beautiful floor, you see a variety of patrons carousing and laughing amongst themselves as you walk towards the door.
I'm wondering if I have Leon with me or...
Nah, he's dead.
Oh, damn it.
Well, Tempus can certainly walk in, and maybe Leon's tying his shoes or something. Commotion does, like, mute itself a little bit as they look at you, but then they go back to, like, laughing and talking as if you're not there.
Tempus, he'll pause, of course, when he comes in the door, have a look around, get an idea of where everything is, realize the most dangerous of foes is standing right there. You know,
he is sitting, you know, on a stool, sipping his chai tea or whatever the fuck old people drink.
You don't mess with a guy drinking his chai tea.
That's right. And you get like a hand wave from the bar over here from a portly fellow in his maybe late 40s, early 50s. He's got a weak chin. He got a bit of a belly as well, wearing suspenders. He says, welcome to the winch and chain. Never seen you around here before. What can I get for you?
Looking for something spicy. A good bit of fire oil if you've got some. It'd be really nice to get stuff going.
Sure, I got something for you. And he'll, like, step away. He'll, like, go get a drink. And the money for this is basically, like, the money that you guys gather from, like, bodies, like, say, the dwarves. So there's no need to actually subtract your gold pieces.
Okay, so it's chump change, kind of.
Yes,
thing.
it's chump change your fucking adventures. You spend your money on more important things than this.
Alright, Tempus still, just have a little bit of a bicker and banter. It's like, alright, so, I got quite a mix of patrons. What's your name, mate?
My name is Aaron Wright. I'm the proprietor of the Winch and Chain. I've been a dock worker for multiple decades, decided that my back couldn't take it anymore, got into the business of keeping tavern. You're new here, adventurer of some kind? You have the look of that about you.
That's the one. I came here from Dragon Hall.
Oh, well, as it turns out, many individuals who come here do have some familiarity with Blue City, so you are in the right place.
Oh, that's good to know, And Tempest will just take the time, have a look around. He's purposely left it open as he takes a good few seconds just to have a look around at the patrons.
Sure. No one's really paying you much mind. There are 2 servers who bustle around to and fro. There is a cook who's handling everything. 2 individuals who look both scarred and bruised and heavily muscled, like having banter with each other. This one guy, these 2 individuals here talking. This 4 of an entire group. Man sitting by his own. These 2 over here look to be the best armored and best equipped of the lot. And they're leaned in close at the table, and they're conversing with one another. There's a crusty sailor back there, and then over here is an individual who is clearly the best dressed of a lot, and he's eating at the best table. And this server here appears to be paying more attention to him than the other sections where she is.
Okay.
Aaron says, Now, if you've never been here to this little Dragon Hall before, there's a bit of a divide here. It's good that you chose this tavern first, but it's important that you never walk into the Harlequin's Flask. It's a matter of pride, and it's a matter of cultural identity.
Tempus can't help but one of his eyebrows raises up in curiosity as he's just swirling a small sip of his drink and puts it down.
It's how people identify themselves. The Harlequin's Flask is for the ones who think they're too good for everyone else, and he presses his thumb to his weak chin and just thrusts it forward against the skin. They just think they're all high and mighty, lording over everyone. Well, we folk don't have to take that, and you hear murmurs of agreement spread across the entire tavern. So any of those folk who think they're too good for us, we give them what for whenever they step in here.
I hear that. Tempus raises his drink a little bit. I've never been one for snobby gits. And he takes another sink.
So yes, good you made the right choice, It's, hope you enjoy your stay. You need anything else, you can just go ahead and ask.
Tempus on. May I ask a few questions, but cheers, and I'll just, here, and Tempus will just put a few more coins, just for the tab, might need a few more of these.
Aaron will, eye you speculatively, but he'll nod, and he'll take the coins. And then he doesn't stay behind the bar, he, goes out to, the tavern and stuff.
Okay. This is where apart. Tempus will just sort of pause at the bar, having a few drinks, and this is where he does take the time to slowly analyse the group. He's got this guy over here, the dock worker, to his immediate south. He's got a storyteller to his immediate, the closest person to him.
Right,
actually.
and the descriptions are there for you so that you can identify, how they're speaking and conversing with each other and how they hold themselves. This individual who's a storyteller he appears to be a bard type. He can spin a yarn and, he's telling tall tales and what have you. Whereas the dock workers do appear to look as if they spent, lives, out there. On the sea, on the piers, loading and unloading. They have, the muscles and the scars and the tattoos to show for it as well. Old man, of course, looking like the old man, the most dangerous of foes. These 2 looking like they constantly get in fights. These 2 looking like they are still the best equipped of the lot in here. They have gear that would be on par of yours. And an actual adventuring group. So with that analysis, go ahead.
And of course, as Tempus is rolling over, he'll probably see them conversing over there. Not, be interested, but just continue as he's looking over and around.
So, back to the Harlequin's Flask, where we have our wonderful individuals who've chosen a Harlequin's Flask coming in. And it appears to be that there's quite a few familiar faces. You have some recognition, some folks raising their mugs and acknowledgement of you. Recognizing you and your brand loyalty that you've chosen as you step in.
How nice.
Server will come up, ask what she can help you with. Take orders and stuff.
Some dark ale, please.
And then she'll finish taking your orders and she'll walk back to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you 3 are technically the majority. Anything that you folks want to do, or should I just cut back to Gryph?
Do we want to do anything? Do we want to talk to Blue Eyes, maybe?
I don't. But you can.
I don't have the
here to
money. Anyway.
basically here, waiting for the two others to have established themselves in the tavern. Because we couldn't basically get anything out of it.
Yeah, I
I
think
kind
we
of know who's the
essentially just
movers and shakers here.
Okay.
So we don't knowing who's the big guys and the other one might be what we're waiting for.
I'll flip back to... Well, that's weird. That's interesting. Let me try flipping back to it again. Huh. The map is completely black for me. Odd. What the fuck are you doing, MapTool?
In a wrong place?
No. The tavern, the Winch and Chain has now just become a completely solid black background for me instead of actually black. I guess I'm gonna restart MapTool. Fine then, be fussy.
Weird.
I know, right? Okay. Alright, so there we are again with Tempus Malleator as he's sitting there by the bar, sipping his beverage, having a look, not really being interacted with or being talked to anyone. Occasionally the barkeep, Aaron, will finish like whatever he's doing, walking around and visiting people, and he'll walk back behind the bar, because you're the only one who's sitting behind it. And he'll go, "You good? You need anything else?"
Tempest just waves his hands kindly. His back's kind of to the bar as he's looking around, just looking for people to converse with.
Mm-hmm.
And he waves his hands. I'm good. And he starts actually walking in and around the tables just to get an idea of the conversations that are taking place.
Alright, well, nosy bitch gets looked at for certain.
Well, he's trying to look for a friendly table to sit at and join in the chat.
Oh, okay.
But he's not actually like sort of walking by curiously. He's actually walking around to see if anyone is open for someone to sit at the table, rather than...
Sure. These two individuals, of course, have their small little tables full, and it would be like you could like pull up a stool and like sit by them. They appear to be well grossed, although they do nod politely at you. They make no indications, like invitations, for you to like come sit, not knowing you.
That's fair enough.
These two are basically like the individuals that I've described to Manaki who like get into like an argument about magic shit. They're so engrossed in like the merits of like fighting bare knuckle that they aren't paying attention. And how each could take the other, even though each has defeated the other.
Alright. Tempest will mingle around. Power to the fighters, they're probably well engrossed in their conversation, maybe not even have batted an eye as he walks around.
The old man, the most dangerous of foes, sipping quietly from his mug.
Doesn't even raise his head, probably.
No, he does, and certainly his old eyes that are so dark and beady focus on you.
Tempest will politely nod. No hidden gestures, just
He will
friendly.
He will lower his head a fraction of a millimeter.
Good gesture. Positive feelings. Just sort of as he saunters by, nods his head at the group of dock workers, if any looks at him.
Yep. They'll sort of nod to you in greeting. As you draw closer to these two individuals, it does become clear to Tempus, and it is with an eerie feeling that's without a dice roll, that it's almost as if like you've had your eye on people like them. You get the sense that they've been paying attention to you since you walked into the tavern. And not like these two here.
Yeah, no, you said dice roll, so I'm just prepared.
It's not a dice roll situation that's required. It's as you get close enough to them, you recognize that they've been paying you the same much attention that you've been paying the entire tavern, which, you are new here. You are walking towards them, and they do look the adventurous sort, and you know how paranoid adventurers can be.
Tempest, well, he's quite well armed. He's armored, he's got his weapons and such, and they have them too.
Yes.
It's a 2-for-1 situation. They're
Yes.
definitely in the positives here. In a strange environment, they may have allies, so Tempest the stranger on his own. And Tempest will slowly wander up, and he'll just say his greetings. He'll like, "Hello to you."
Miranda, or the woman, will say hello, and then the man will say, "Good day."
It's always a bit strange seeing people just as well dressed as myself in quite an environment. They stand out like a sore thumb. I should know. I'm one of them right now. So, what brings a pair of you lovely adventurers here?
The woman, you get close. No one would call her beautiful, but she, a bit better than plain looking. And it's more along the lines of what you define her as someone who's a warrior. Like someone who, the closer you get, does have scars lining her face, as well as worry lines, and the eyes of someone who's had friends die in their arms. And she says, well, a place to eat and a place to drink. And the gentleman over here, who shares a similar look and expression, says through a mouthful of bread, and a place that reminds us of home.
Tempus raises his head. Cheers to that. Price of being an adventurer, eh? And he finishes his drink straight out. You always have the costs to pay, and the burden is strong, but the adventures are great.
The two look at each other, and then back at you. Why don't you go ahead and roll a d6 for me, Gryph?
Okay.
Okay. It is possible that, looking at these two individuals, that, they might possibly, if these two are the same individuals you're thinking of, actually have, judging by the fact that they're human, a connection with the Dwarf King, and a strong one at that. The weapons and armor, as you are close enough to inspect them, do appear to have that fine hone and glint to them that would demonstrate that they are of dwarven manufacture. And dwarven armor that's well fitted for humans is not exactly common to come by.
Tempus, as he's finishing his drink, and he's still staring at the glass as this happens, and he just takes the time and he looks and senses it, and he just feels tight. Like your stress level has just increased. This just got a little bit more challenging and dangerous for Tempus, and he drops it down.
So what brings you here?
Sounds like the same as you. Here to escape the daily drudge. See what's around, see what new friends are possible to make, what stories to share, and feelings to get out of the system.
The two of them share a look. That's interesting. All we said is that food and drink and it reminded us of home. Where chance are you from?
Lately Dragonkin.
Well, that would make sense.
I was here. Tempus tilts his head, thinking. I was here briefly quite a while ago before I headed off to Dragonkin. Not enough to really catch the sights, but during the winter I decided to come back. Far too cold that way up north.
They both politely nod at you. They continue eating and drinking.
What about yous? Where do yous come from?
Both of them chime in simultaneously. Dragonkin. And the man follows it up by saying, hence why it reminds us of home.
Tempus can't help but let out a small chuckle. He pauses for a moment, just has a look around, has a think about things.
Okay. Tempus, being the social expert that he is, gets a mild sense of unease, like his presence is interrupting them from continuing their conversation, like if you walked up to some people at, like, a booth or something and, you know, like, started chatting with them and then just kept waiting there and standing around.
It's more a case of, it's probably, like, in the briefest of seconds, like, you know, just while he's just twiddling his drink, has a couple more words, just little things, and just says, "I'll leave you to your company. Thank you for the friendliness," and he'll just sort of wander on back.
Good day. Good day.
Kind of just sort of.
The old man watches you with his hard eyes that have seen lifetimes of death and despair.
I'm imagining that's what all he's just done. He just constantly stared at Tempest the entire time.
He has to blink sometime. Everything okay in the Harlequin's flask?
Sure.
Or is this just a Tempest show at the moment?
Basically.
I guess so.
Well, I mean, we're waiting for you, so.
You're waiting for me.
They wanted you to come in here and get information and things and stuff.
Especially about this guy.
Which
When
guy?
you come back, you're gonna have all the juicy information.
I don't know which guy you pointed at.
To the north.
We would have described to you a person who dines at the Wenchen chain, even though he doesn't seem to quite belong there. And he's also a high elf, I believe.
He is a high elf, yes.
And we believe him to be not only the true power behind the tavern here, but also, I believe, the owner of a brothel.
He is the proprietor of the Parlor of Gilded Comforts.
And I paid a guy like 100 gold to tell me that he is the guy we want to look for if we want to investigate this whole thing.
Yeah. They're also holding fights here, I believe, and he's only the guy that knows what happens to the really good fighters.
Yes. We think he might be a recruiter for the Black Fang.
Oh, great, this is gonna be fun.
So technically we are sending you alone into the Black Fang.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's why I said...
At least the guy we sent in last time is still with us.
At least, as Tempus receives this metagame feed of knowledge, he looks towards the north of the stove, and God, that guy does not look approachable.
No.
He's seen approachable high elves in his day, and that does not like an approachable high elf. As noted, the best dressed individual of this lot actually has outfits which appear to have been tailored for his personage. And his table, which does not have anyone else except for him sitting at it, certainly looks like the best damn table in here. But with its, actual chairs. And, some finery things like condiments that he might have on his food. And looking at him, he appears to be slowly, methodically chewing and staring ahead. Like maybe staring at the sailor, but probably just staring at the wall. But maybe staring at you, too? Or maybe that's just the two people that you spoke with earlier who might be watching you.
Probably there's a few patrons that are consistently cycling and looking at Tempest, I imagine, just to keep them...
You are carousing, and, with your social deafness, it could be that you're drunk, and just walking from table to table, you could be excessively friendly. Oh, hell, you're not entirely... Maybe you're a spy for the Harlequin's flask.
Okay, I'm trying to think of this one. This is... God, how do you approach a very well-dressed rich high elf that is giving off the air of get fucked?
He's probably the kind of guy that you might need an invitation just to see. Looking at him, oh man. Look at him, all, elven-like, and, his long hair, and it's kind of covering his ears, but you can still see the pointed tips. And, those fucking eyebrows, and just that look he can give you, and that fucking, he turns to look in your direction, by accident. He's looking over here, perhaps for the server who's actually right over here, and just that ever-present small smirk on his face, there's always something he finds funny, and you're not in on it. And you want to approach him and talk to him?
Go ask the barkeep what's up with him.
That's the plan. That's the plan. I should have followed that up with Grimith at the start.
Let's travel back in time to whenever they advised you, maybe you want to ask the barkeep about it. And travel forward in time to right now.
Alright, Tempus will take another mug and start sipping away. He goes, so, the very, very fancy high elf over on the table, the one that's dining in he kind of stands out dramatically.
Yeah, that's Arnold's style.
Well, I mean, simple question, but he does seem to stand out quite dramatically here.
Aaron arches a brow.
Well, looking at all the other tables and all that, it's significantly fancy and he's incredibly well dressed. I mean, does he enjoy that level of attention?
Aaron shrugs. That's Arnold.
I'd like to talk to him.
Well, you can try.
Whether he talks back's a whole different question, eh?
It might not be a conversation, son. I'll just put it like that. He's, Aaron leans in closer. He owns the Comfort building, here in Little Dragon Hall. A rather fine establishment. Place called Parlor of Gilded Comforts, at least by his name. You won't see a sign for it, but everyone who lives here knows where it is and whether to go there, whether to avoid it. About probably the only place where individuals of both taverns can meet without fighting each other. Understand, have to represent the brand. As such, he's got a little bit of, well, let's just say that things have a tendency to go his way whenever he wants something. And what he doesn't like, at least in most cases, at least while he's here, is conversation. You'd think that maybe he'd eat somewhere else, and he gestures towards the High Elf, but... And then Aaron shrugs. Guess he likes the food here. Although, damn, I'd have it delivered to him if that'd make him happier. But he wants to eat here, I guess, for whatever reason, and I don't question it. I just shut up and take his money.
Tempus swirls around some of the oil around his mouth. Parlor of Gilded Comforts, he says after swallowing.
Yes, well, not my business to judge, but, I wouldn't go there. I'm sure you'd find the price right, but, perhaps if perhaps there's some things in Dragon Hall you'd rather leave behind, son.
Sometimes you get an itch and you just need to scratch it.
If you say so. Well, one thing you probably won't be scratching, but be my guest, by all means. Just, And he sort of shrugs. Up to you, kid.
Well, any tips or advice that you would recommend or offer up?
Don't talk to him. But, if you have your head set on it, he's probably smarter than you. So, walk into conversation with that in mind.
He's not the kind of person that I want to cross wires with, at the very least. And, well, looking at him, he does seem to have that smug sense of satisfaction around him, that he knows a hell of a lot more than he's given.
Aaron snorts and says, actually, I think that's common among all elves, but perhaps him more so than most.
Well, you said this is something that you need an invite to.
I said, like, out of game, like, out of character, metagame-wise, like, looking at him, like, sort of gave you the impression that...
No,
like,
sorry, I mean the guild, the pleasures place.
He shakes his head, like, no, it's just not marked. You can show up there. They have lots of comforts for travelers, merchants, and as noted, it is probably the one place in Little Dragon Hall where members of the two taverns can meet civilly.
Tempus sits and just bites his thumb, slowly looking over.
There, approaching him would make the most sense, but you wouldn't actually be able to talk to him in any sort of personal fashion. He's strictly business. Here he's strictly... He's Arnaud. Or Arnaud, or Arnaud, or however the hell he pronounces it. You probably shouldn't say his name. I actually avoid saying his name to him, too.